you... Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about... it's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable person... did you just pour... Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that...
Don't be frightened. Aw.
Wait.
You're feeling lost. Consider me a passerby. The prophecy. Yes.
What?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Just as prophecy are the things that you...
What?
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately, this...
The voice. Hey, it's you!
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Luna!
Fine, just not all Fontaine.
Did she...
Why, yes. I'm in full support.
That's right!
Yes. About what... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direct, but I've never...
Whoa.
Their abilities alone...
Well, it's not like Paimon...
Yes, she was. Perhaps it is some... Traveler?
Oh, we're fine.
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has all... But even so, perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. I did originally think of...
You do have a point.
There, it was worth trying. I suppose that might...
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Tell Acadia I said hi.
Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper. What's going on? Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. But that does not mean that others cannot interact with it. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Thus, did an owlet... So while the fortress is in... Journalist Charlotte's... Charlotte took... She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything. Ugh, seriously? We're here! Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we...
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after... Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too?
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule.
Then what if someone
But why would it...
Well...
Oh, the prof is... No. It's the...
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have... These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said...
Oh, you know, see...
I sure do. She said that I've got something else to do, so I'll...
And there she goes. Alright, let's dig in. It's more delicious than last time! And the sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious. Oh! We're near the Seabird office! Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't. It's all right, though.
Really?
You're...
Oh, Paimon!
Still, what brings...
When Mona mentioned...
So she mentioned...
She said that you're a real...
No.
Huh?
Oh, of course it doesn't. Oh,
Yeah.
why not?
Oh.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much to get...
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If...
Huh. If you're from what I've seen, so in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office. Just think about it. If this nation... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that... I'm not a dreamer, but anyway...
That's... so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? Paimon's been thinking... If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask... We've always been moving to the next You mean... still trapped? Huh. Feels like you'll... But it's still good.
So the 2 of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palace?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Not at all. Yes, and...
A riot?
Well, that Lady Furina loudly accused... And before she could the crowd continued to...
So people have...
I agree.
So what happened after...
Seeing that the Marechaussee Phantom had...
So...
That's right. That said, I don't think they're good.
Don't worry.
Is that...
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Furina, and as we also... When Nervalet was... It would be hard for... Paimon thinks Furina's... Huh! Well, what do you... In that case, there's no... That's Furina, right over there.
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding. I'm sorry. But what can I even do? Other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and... Who's that?
Don't worry, Furina, it's just... Furina, you were crying...
What do you mean? Who did that? They even dare to tout their Archon! I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those...
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Furina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabbit that's against the rules. I can't...
Furina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina! There's a good hiding spot over here! Quick, come...
What?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way. I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm that...
Yep, that's a good...
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about...
Yeah, but the people of Poisson... It's true. I once had informants all over Tevat. I've tried all, but oh my we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free. Indeed, I've thought about giving. Fate is really unreasonable, but just now, it all became clear. As long as the final moment hasn't come, don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. Don't take any...
Come on!
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're... it...
Ladies and gentlemen, this could now without
So, this is what it is. Do not forget, however, that I...
May I interpret these words as your In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through...
You withdraw your... I see. It seems like you have made a...
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an archive?
Wow.
Lady Furina, what is...
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of...
Looking for excuses again!
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. I will admit that I'm sorry if you are not. But now, I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world this time. Applaud and mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine.
Woohoo! Oh no! Why does it feel like Furina just took over the whole thing? What? Also, even though she's still acting super...
All right, then.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Also, please allow me to... Just how much work...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the people's resentment. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis, so we arranged for a second group.
So, you mean... the ones who...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box.
That's right. That house was
As the super ultimate version of the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and... was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Furina. Without... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. We had to select a location.
So, in other words, the earthquake...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess, Nervillette, you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist... Also that as soon as I appeared...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend...
Thank you.
As for you, traveler, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived. Oh?
It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to... This is a document to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here. Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the... Wait, then that means this document... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every... Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part... The words of someone... This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervillette. Just fast forward. Of course. It is only now.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the...
Charge accepted. Lady Furina. Lady Furina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine.
Yeah, even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going to...
Yeah, I've never...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon See? Even if you wish to
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Furina's
and if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over...
That doesn't sound... First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervillette?
Lady Furina...
Well, it is true that...
Well, don't start celebrating too early. Besides, everyone knows that the main for centuries, manifestations of my authority have served. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in...
That doesn't sound... You tried to reference the...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time?
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your... While the court is in... You will prove yourself unable to defend against...
I never thought...
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, instead of having been created by...
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be—
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern...
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide every—
Isn't that...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even...
Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone! I'm still the same, please.
If what the prosecutor said is true...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. That doesn't sound... That doesn't... It has been established that...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate—
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with...
super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. Including those... So, Miss Furina, would you... If we are to believe that... But, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse... Oh, and I must remind... I do hope you'll act prudently.
Navia from the... If Lady Furina is indeed...
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same.
She's just staring at the water without...
What's going on? Is she really planning to...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
What? Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the...
Siege? Wait, don't be nervous. It'll just take a... That should...
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial sea...
Thank you, Miss Siegewin.
Oh, wait. What did she just say?
Well, considering your however, after extensive discussion, we exchanged... We don't want anyone...
Yeah, so out of regard... It's a great thing...
I can't believe... Listen to me, everyone! Think about it! How can you conclude... Also... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your...
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a...
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the verdict punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought...
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, is this sentence really appropriate for the crime?
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by...
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro... But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial...
Fremine! You finally made it!
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father is...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremen...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then... doesn't that mean I've come too late?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've already... so when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point, however, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember. The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to... Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. The second stone slate shows... This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been taught. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we?
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater, and the first stone slate tells us this might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve. Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalet and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia. It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. The prophecy from the stone slates found its way. The fortress, if we hadn't dealt with it in time.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the... The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps... Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, it now, so that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible! Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it isn't. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an addition. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original form. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian. But
alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in they have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to Therefore, the meaning of that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now...
what should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the 4th slate will...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deduction about the 4th slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen. That whale does. It has been greedily and once it is finished.
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created.
Precisely. That, therefore, when it left the primordial sea.
We just.
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate from the way he looked. He must have been fighting.
That battle maniac. Anyway, now.
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, even if the entirety of...
That's not... We've already done everything we can, and we even found the... We've come so far.
Indeed. That's not how a grand...
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as... Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods. Could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to...
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just...
You are not Furina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success.
Focalor.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity, and the human counterpart I left behind, I named Furina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon, alone, weep. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, Her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand you're... All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract... Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
This is order. Let the mighty be humbled. Stabilize. Solidify! Bow your head.
Teamwork is trick!
I will have order. The tides beckon. Silence! Bombs away! Go! Gather! This is order!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Be sanctified.
Let's light it up!
Silence! Stabilize!
Yeah, I'm going in!
I I will have order. Bow your head. Solidify! Let the mighty be humbled! Settle down! This is order! Yeah! 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 Gather! Yeah! Go!
Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're... Mirror me?
Mirror you.
Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people will...
Oh.
What?
Yes.
But...
Oh, don't worry. I will tell you how to save everyone, but...
Oh, so there's still hope after all. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine...
You truly are. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon.
Play at...
That's right. You must begin a never-ending mass if you can keep it up.
But how will I do this?
Don't worry. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know. Remember, your true challenge.
I'm still... So, how long...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay, but I promise...
A trial, huh? The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say? I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on... In truth,
I know little about becoming a nation's new god. But as the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any this, I thought I might stammer, but thankfully...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Right. Calm down, Furina. Think. Assertive. With a strong... Now, I was wondering if some weak... Well, it seems that you may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be...
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera?
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before. Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, no, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales of just may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. There is no trouble in so long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the opera epiclese.
Lady Furina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to.
If I may be so impertinent, what...
A magnificent, dramatic, and what...
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Furina, I don't know what to say. Thank you.
No need to thank. All right.
He is due.
Lady Furina.
I see. It's as I thought then. All manner. Really? Have they...
I'm...
The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's... Maybe this is fine.
Lady Furina, here are the new trial report.
They'll...
Lady Furina, I've...
Indeed, my dear.
Lady Furina, we're detecting significant hydrological...
Understood. I don't think I let any... I feel utterly...
Lady Furina, it's like a dream being able to speak. I've heard that the first member...
And what a fine family yours... What is it?
Are you crying?
Really? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your...
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined. Have I reached my limit? I want to tell someone I have conducted so many. All I can do is keep hard.
Furina, you don't have to shoulder this burden, although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. You...
Share my That's impossible. It was fated right from the start.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with me.
A witness. And if to that is in... He's right. I could confide in him, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be... No, Furina. You shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really... Furina, you've worked so hard for so long. Is it such an outrageous thing to do? If you let this opportunity slip through your finger, think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Furina. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness...
Fine.
So even Furina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the... It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good. Of course, the Eudex of Fontaine has pinpointed... I'm sure you've long sensed that...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice with... It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along.
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so. Alas, your understanding of this device... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device... Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the oratories take down the god of justice... I mean... Did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the... But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to... The vast majority had to be, accumulated.
It was all part of your plan, then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored, but only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia, and breaking through...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Furina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro...
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't... I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then Leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence. Defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice enthroned over. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontainians, have shouldered the burden of Iudex Nervillet, the highest judge in our land. When you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon?
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding. You are a devious one, Focalors. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervillet. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Iudex Nervillet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come. You my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its roots from within. Solidify! Let the mighty be humbled! Bow your head. This is order. Water jet! Bombs away! Solidify! I will have order!
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. It's just that he has the impression that she's a person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without... So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk?
The point being...
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed... So what sort of person is your master? Well, child's master...
Oh, right. So you don't know him. So his name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with...
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous. How should I...
The foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfall...
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rheindochter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rheindochter. They are both pursuing some...
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry! Hey, lend a hand!
water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
Every journey.
The soil renewed. The Sweena attacks. Old soil can still give birth. Skyship Winglet, Booner Bane of the Fontaine Race. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have set up. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The value for these big scoop. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship.
Paimon's curious too!
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noted.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned...
Oh, this time will be different.
Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a...
I'm here to update myself.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. He represents... Our residents are hard at...
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of you, but if you don't mind...
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep...
That would be fine.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials.
Huh?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions?
Forget it.
I see you're the same as...
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might...
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up. And smile.
How did it go? Was it a good shot? Did Paimon look...
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections.
Wow, you really...
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview.
Whoa, you're well informed.
That's a... very...
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media? I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridesley will make a
You're right. I've got...
Stay safe now. And tell me...
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgia...
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come all the...
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom are good...
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke!
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier, hmm?
Sir, please don't say things...
But it looks like dear Mr...
No, I just...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet the boat that brought him. Still, if I might ask...
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's trying to get herself in a...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be...
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that?
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple?
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well, then, 2 solo photos...
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like...
Ah, see...
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, take some pretty photos of our head nurse? Sure. Come on, Miss Sijuane.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at the front?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
Other than that flying ship.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through.
You're too kind, sir.
I'll just... I see.
He sure did win the...
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss...
Oh, actually...
What change can there be? As to what Miss Furina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it...
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a...
Maybe. Who knows? I might write a story about... All right, last stop, the docks.
If only the dog was this quiet at home.
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing...
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte.
Would you like a magic pocket? What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could
trick a friend. I wonder which of my friends would fall for that.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant by, I'll help you make some more?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your
You sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant.
That said, would anyone want to see underwater?
Oh, it'll work out.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she...
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid. Father says that you did a great deal during the latest.
That's all right. We were more...
Oh, I guess you haven't heard. After Lady Furina left, Father and Monsieur Nervi...
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
Well, that's true, but this is a gnosis we're
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Nervillet has had...
So there's some reason for this that only Nervillet knows about?
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Yes, speaking of which, I did...
Isn't he real busy and stuff? But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay my account.
Are you going to take the gnosis?
That is our duty as harbingers. Yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand... Switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh?
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic pockets when we first met too. I guess this must be life. We will all follow our own paths, and serendipity will lead you to your fated friends. All right then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so...
Well, guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see how Nervillet's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
am not a big fan of opera.
The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! So, you really are here, Neuvillette! Paimon didn't think you were going to have...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out.
Aw, Paimon's glad that... Alright, let's have it then. How was...
It is strange how words can often leave a...
Whoa. So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians from dissolving.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too!
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, but whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root. As for the judgment passed by the Oratree, whether it was due to that liability by association, or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off.
Guess Focalor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real human. Hang on a second. Paimon, back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also...
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, seems like this ritual won't be of any
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Furina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Furina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall...
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the youth.
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Iudex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the...
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to Child.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide. As far as I'm aware...
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect, unlike Ink, Natlan is also... There is one other... The Harbinger known as the
Captain.
I suggest that you fully prepare... Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that I believe may be useful to you. The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
The Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon still got a question about the Gnosis. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
see what's going on. You hurry over soon as well, alright, Nervalet?
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Ah, of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of...
Huh. According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing, but once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts, and my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger, then.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui!
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here. I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element-compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision! That does sort of count. No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels... Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender... that's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once child recovers, let's get some more...
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking.
All right. Whatever the case, it seems like the crisis here in Fontaine's over for now.
Yes. All the...
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all...
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while I too would guess that if wishes were like life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. And what ultimately is the difference between the rains that fall...
Commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Look, actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commitment.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. But the troupe has also been experiencing...
That does sound like a tricky situation.
That's right. There are only a few days left.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any idea? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience.
If you're interested in helping, maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him...
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lettuce. Paimon approved. Hello there, are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two!
Wow, sounds like we're... but to...
I see. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. That's the thing. All our sets and props are very... If we had a way to make this prop...
Disband?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe. One last show. And after that, nobody wants things to just... Yeah, the leading lady. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake...
Got it, we have a clearer picture now. What if we sponsored the show?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor, and I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know we're the best of partners. Anyway, she should have... She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of...
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're... That was a joke, right?
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she'd be really good at it.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours. Well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
No point in stressing about that. And besides, things are different now.
Thank you for your help.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermont.
As it happens, I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. It is my duty to support commissioners.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Woo! Now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in a jiffy. Did Catherine really give us the right address? Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just, a bit...
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Ah! Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too. Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meal... Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre faucilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're...
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the Traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you. Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well... Maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision yet.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power.
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific? Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest, but given...
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me. Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. Of course, that can't be undone now, but at least I can say that I no longer desire to play.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off.
Whether it's a one-off or not, if I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't, since I'm just an ordinary person now. They'll probably just laugh. True, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Oh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means a lot.
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. Sorry.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted... Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. All right, then. We'll see you around, Furina.
Toodaloo to you, too.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now.
Exactly, but none of them believed me.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else?
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness... So, are you absolutely sure?
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from... I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a prop. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their...
You're right. I'm sorry.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list. All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me. Hello?
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you...
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the— I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take—
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart. But in any case—
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost—
There's no need to think like that, and no need to keep it— I was wondering, if the difficulties are purely— Everyone seems so devoted to the troop.
We all want to believe that, but everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our—
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no—
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical— She rallied many people around her who were— People loved our performances back—
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe— None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own—
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from— I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Furina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway. I can, however, provide some artistic guidance, but only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that—
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return is something I've begun to realize. The law only judges criminal behavior. What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before. And so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then. You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely different situation.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
Yep, you're right.
I need to get out more. Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello, all. Allow me to explain. As of today, these two over here are the ones that made it possible.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it.
So, you were saying the little...
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete...
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. Anyway, the protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship. But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
So far, so good. A classic tale.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance.
Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us...
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troop.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago, said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend...
Yeah, maybe he could...
Poisson... Nothing. I suppose my... So, allons-y. To...
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
It's okay. These things take time. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget. After the Hydro Archon's inaction, to avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress, playing the role of Furina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all, like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her. It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of, yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they...
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there. I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll, and here I am dumping all this.
We don't mind. It's actually...
Right. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but as I stand here by the ship, one after another, people were taken by the water. All those they thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster and all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst case scenario. Everyone rose to their responsibility, but on some level...
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly believe in the furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings. That's what I really meant.
So that's where you were coming from.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life. At least the choice is in my... All right, it's about time to head back.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and...
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down.
Come on. Anyway.
Are you kidding me right now? I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to...
Oh no. We're back! Could you maybe put your
You're back. We've been enjoying... Paulo's nearly done.
Great! So you were just...
Me?
He was originally...
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid.
That's right. He has some pretty if you become human.
Wait, that sounds kind.
It's the most important line in the whole She kept quiet. It was only after
You mentioned earlier about the troop.
Yeah. I spent some years. It was like that, and she took me under her.
She sounds like a really.
She really was. I was a lost child. The other kids were all. One day. Yeah.
The day you hoped would never come.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here.
Furina? The Furina? Oh,
Please.
Same here.
even so, this is just... Oh, wow. Yes, the script, of course. Let me give... I'm sure you're already... She finds love and the people start to notice that the little Oceanid, in the end...
Consciousness?
Water as a...
Since the little Oceanid is a water, her lover accepts her for who she is and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save?
Well, she mainly...
Through her love for her human...
There's actually something else that... You know the protagonist. If we're serious about
That sounds like too...
That ending would be on the day when she went missing. We waited and waited. We looked for her.
The director?
But...
I've been trying to...
Vilma?
Yeah.
Grief? Because...
What?
It's time to be upfront with you. I did tell her. She said that we were all like brothers and... Not that it came... I said, maybe one day in the future, when Well, maybe... And now... So if I'm the one writing this...
And that we've all had our differences of opinion.
Well, if that's what...
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm... Funny you should ask, though.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone.
Stabilize!
I'm going in!
The tides beckon. Bow your head.
Yeah.
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
As if this journey—
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler. Wait.
We're just curious.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all—
Precisely. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just—
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie, indeed.
Aww.
Sorry to leave all the—
Don't worry,
Solidify!
Silence! Be sanctified.
Gather!
Let's light it up!
This is order! Yeah!
Everybody stand back!
Order guide you!
Let's light it up!
The tides beckon.
Solidify! Gather!
Teamwork is dreamwork!
I will have order! Solidify! Bow your head.
Be sanctified.
Order guide you.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma!
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait.
I can explain. We've been—
So, you think... If I open this can of worms now...
Viamal, unless you mean...
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamal. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame, but now, the little Oceanid...
As you all know already, the troop we took on side... So, anyway, one day after, it seemed like a win-win. The drink in question was...
Isn't that the drink?
I freaked out, but she didn't The merchant was... I was going to sort it out, but I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and I got...
Hey, don't say...
You traitor! What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life in... How could you...
Please, try not to get too worked.
Yeah, listen to him!
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered! She was the love of my life! And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show!
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back in my life.
Get out of my sight!
That's enough! Can you stop conflating the show on... You keep saying that you...
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the... But in her own... What she wanted. I understand.
Yeah.
So think hard about if you really hate each other. But you can't bring your... What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that... For a moment there, if she'd seen Paula...
Really? But she sounded like such...
Of course she was.
I'm truly sorry.
It's all right.
So...
Clearly, everyone needs... The end of the story needs to focus...
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. If you could find any...
You really think that...
I trust that...
No.
Well...
Come, let's pay a...
You want to review some recovered items? Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application.
So...
Hey! It's full of script lines!
Let me take a look. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's action. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook...
Lachey took so many lives.
I guess Aurelie must... wait. Her handwriting... Her final words are... I'll let you read...
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but I can't bear to think how pain... wait. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face...
Isn't that the most important line in the little OC?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. I'm sure this is what the truth... She had their utmost trust. Let's go.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way.
Even in the last moments.
She did her best. We know what choice her.
I will channel all my I won't ask for.
Really? How can you be so sure when you...
Don't underestimate my experience. If you want to move and aren't, I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing the...
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Then, let's not...
Actually, before that, I'd like during the curtain call.
Huh? But then...
After all, besides...
Well...
All right, I'll leave you to find...
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay.
That place? Oh,
whoa, wait.
No. That's never going to work. It's far...
What are you afraid of?
No.
It is supposed to be your grand finale.
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect... Come on! We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette.